Good evening. We're meeting here at the Acushnet Library, and we are the Acushnet Cultural Council. Today is May 7th. It is 6 o'clock. We do not plan on staying too long, maybe 7 o'clock. And we are being video and audio recorded for later broadcast on local channel 18 and on the Town of Acushnet's YouTube channel. In your packet, the first page of your packet is the agenda that will be following. Cindy, I gave you a packet from way back in the beginning, so go to the part that says May 7th, and you'll find the agenda. Okay, thank you. This is an open meeting, and I would like a motion to open the meeting. Pauline, and a second?
Second.
Paula? Okay, Pauline and Paula. And I will write that down, and we'll be all set. Pauline and Paula. We have 8 members of our committee. 2 of them are not present this evening, and maybe they'll show up a little bit later, but I would like those present to introduce themselves. But also I want to say we have a guest here, Cindy Gilbo, who will probably join our committee at a later time. So, but I'm going to go like right around the table and have you just say your name and who you are. And
Paulette Hudson from Acushnet.
Okay.
I'm David Longvale. I've been on the committee for 3 years.
Charlene.
Oh, I'm Charlene Correa.
Just remind you of who you are.
I thought she was going to say your name.
Cindy, do you want to say who you are?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm Cindy Gilbo. I'm a resident of Acushnet.
Hi, Pauline Texera, resident of Acushnet.
Brittany Vitello, I'm a resident of Acushnet.
And Linda Gilbo. I've been a resident for a while. And I am the chair, and how I got to be chair is Paulette, Janine Watts had been the chairperson for quite a few years. And her committee consisted of her husband, Steve, and her daughter, Michelle. I think Brittany was on that committee, so was Charlene and I. But Janine asked if she could use my name on some of the paperwork because everything was Watts, Watts, and Watts. And I said, sure. And unfortunately, just about 3 years ago, Janine passed away suddenly. And so, therefore, here I am. So, and Steve and Michelle, their terms were up and could no longer be on the committee. So that's how I got to be here. But if anybody would like to be chair, you know, it's okay with me. Yeah.
No, you did wonderful.
Yeah. Okay. Now, under old business, this is the first time we are being televised. So under old business, I would like to go over a little bit about what we talked about at our first meeting. We have never been televised before. Our meetings were always, when we were passing out the grant money, we would come and get together and talk about the applicants, and we would either accept or deny their grants, and that was it. But I think it was Brittany that came up with the idea that maybe we need to meet a little bit more than once a year. And was it?
It was David.
Oh, was it David? Okay. Okay, you can blame one another. So, we're going to have like 3 open meetings. And then our closed meeting will be the meeting that we have when we decide on the grants. So, who are we? Let me go back to my first page here. We are part of the Mass Cultural Council, and yes, we do have a mission statement, and I'm not going to just read it, but I will just kind of capsize it. We want to bring culture to the citizens of Acushnet and citizens surrounding Acushnet, New Bedford, Fairhaven, Mattapoisett, and a lot of our programs are open to the public. We receive most of our money, most of our money, from the Mass Cultural Council. And how much money did they give us this past year? I will tell you. This year, they gave us $9,100, which was great. And then we had from Acushnet $2,500, giving us $11,800 to spend. Unfortunately, people applied and it was like up to like, I don't know, almost $40,000. We just didn't have that, you know. So we had to refuse a few people, and we were able to give what people asked for, we were able to give them part of that, a good part of that, to help them out. A lot of the programs are held here at the library. They are free to the public. The summer programs that are held here at the library are fantastic. They have a lot of outdoor music. They have a lot of speakers. It's just wonderful. And what we do is we have letters that we send out to the people who have applied, telling them whether or not their grant has been accepted or denied. And those whose grants have been accepted, we supply them also with, I think they're called W-9 sheets, because they still have to pay taxes on what they receive from us. And they have a reimbursement form. And all of these forms can be found on the Massachusetts website, but I will make sure that people always have them when I am no longer here with you. Let's see, now I think we're moving right along. On the Acushnet website, you can look up Acushnet Cultural Council, and you can see what we're all about and who we are and what grants we have given out. You can also go to, we have our own website on that website, the Acushnet Cultural Council, and you can see where our programs are and what's going to be coming up, what is open to the public. Also, the library has a great website, and they tell all the programs that have been subsidized by the Massachusetts Cultural Council and by us. And so that's all on our town websites, and our town also has a Facebook page. And at this time, I want to thank Sydney Viveros, Administrative Assistant over at Town Hall, to the town administrator. She is the one who puts everything on the Facebook page. She is also the person who helps me put information into the Massachusetts Cultural Council, into their, like we have to let them know what grants we have approved, and I really don't know how to do that part of it, and she does that. And Tanya, who also works at the administration office, she's the one that I'll tell her, well, this is happening at the library, or that's happening at the library, and she puts it on our web page. So that's great. So we are getting news out there, and now that we're being televised, people can find out what's going on and when it's going on, and a little bit about who we are. Okay, and now I think that takes care of what goes on, you know, what we talked about at the last meeting. And I also want to say a thank you to Sydney and to Tanya and to Lean. And Lean's name is spelled L-I-E-N, and her sister's name is Lang. So I have to go Lean and Lang, and then I have to decide, and they look alike, so I have to decide which one I'm talking to. Both wonderful girls,
Yeah.
but Lean is up in the accounting office, and everything I don't understand, she takes care of. And since I've been doing this, which is only a couple of years, we've had like 3 or 4 different accountants, you know, and getting things into the state and getting it onto their pages and everything that they want is very, very difficult. And Lean has been fantastic in making sure whoever the accountant of the day is, that they take care of it and get that done. So that's pretty good. So now, talking about what's going to be coming up next. Here at the library, we are having a couple of programs. The Acushnet Library Summer Series is starting already. And we have Andrew Lewis and Friends, and they're going to present songs and stories from singer-songwriters from the 1960s. And it's going to be Saturday, June 7th, and I am not sure of the time. So that we can find out later from on the Acushnet website, the library website. But we have paid for Acushnet Comics Camp, which was vacation week, April 23rd, and it was at 2 p.m.
Do you know how many people
Yeah.
attended?
And I don't know how many people attended, you know. Project Soleil is coming up on May 10th at 12 noon. Colors of South Asian Music. Matt York Classic Country Review, Wednesday, May 14th, 6 o'clock, and that will probably be outside. Matt has been here in the past. He has an excellent following. He has, in the past, done Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson. He was supposed to do the whole group, Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings, and Chris Christopherson, the Highwaymen, but he has done them separately. So we'll see what goes on. He's very good, very enjoyable. Puppets, Paul and Mary Puppets Play It Forward. Thursday, July 3rd, 11 a.m. Henry the Juggler, he's a performer, Tuesday, August 5th, 4 p.m. I know that some people, some of the people that we have approved have already contacted the Council on Aging. They're going to do a senior hip hop, but they just don't have a date yet. And I need to speak about what happened the other night, Monday night. David and I were here along with Sandy and one other lady. And this man, by the name of Dennis Wise, came and spoke about bullying. And that's that separate little packet that I gave you. He was, in my opinion, and David, you can agree or disagree, but he was fantastic. He was very, very interesting. He made some interesting points. We even, at the end, he only spoke for like maybe 45 minutes, and then we had a little question and answer period. And he was so good that I put the packet that you're looking at, and I apologize that it's so light, but my original was kind of light. I put together a packet and brought it to the Ford Middle School, and I gave it to the principal, vice principal, administrative assistant, and the 2 counselors. And I got to speak with one of the counselors, and I got to speak to the administrative assistant, and they were kind of very happy to receive this packet, and I was able to tell them that I thought it was really a worthwhile program, and that Dennis is very willing to go to Ford Middle School and put on a presentation to either faculty or to the students, like bring them. He said that in one of his other schools, he's going in and doing 2 presentations, to half the school and then to half the school to the students. So I think, what do you think, Dave?
Yeah, I think it would be an outstanding opportunity for
Yeah.
the children of Acushnet to be able to participate in a program like that, because bullying is something probably everyone has either seen or experienced in their lifetimes or have heard about it, and it can be very impactful on people's lives. And so to educate children on how to be guarded against that, and how to
Yeah, I neglected to say the name of his program. It was about peer bullying, and it was presented for all ages. And on the very last page, I think I have the name of his program written down. No, I didn't. It has to do with dignity, reclaiming your dignity. And he is the author of this book, On Your Side. He left it here for us at the library, and Sandy's going to put it into the system, so anyone can come and take this out.
I wonder if there could be some sort of collaboration, right? So if the Friends of the Library would purchase extra books, and maybe the Country Whip and Acushnet Creamery would do some sort of raffle for the children. So if they read it and, submit a paragraph about what it's about, they could enter, or maybe the Whip and the Creamery would give away a free ice cream, because I know normally they do give out free ice creams to the kids for the summer to kind of promote reading the book.
Good idea. Let's
Something like
see
that.
if we can get something like
Some
that
sort of
going.
collaboration.
I
For
was,
summer reading.
I was planning on getting in touch with the administrative assistant, because she was the one that, came to the door and received the packets, and the one that I actually saw, even though I spoke with one of the guidance counselors. And maybe I could present that, find out first of all, are they going to do this program? And if they are, if they would be willing to, reach out to Country Whip. I would reach out to Country Whip, or to Dawn, or at Acushnet Creamery.
Even
Yeah.
both, so
Yeah.
that this way
Yeah.
there's enough,
Yeah.
share the
That's a
load.
good idea, huh?
Yeah, and Dennis was explaining to us that bullying has grown exponentially because of multimedia and cell phone usage in schools, and that the children can be quite vicious to each other. And,
They can't escape it, because,
right,
you know,
there's no-
when we went to
exactly, no
school,
escape.
right? You left school and it was okay until the next day, then you had to face it when you went to school. But now you go home, you turn on your cell phone, you go on the computer, and it's there through your social media account. You
That's
can't
exactly
escape
right.
it.
He explained that.
That was the
so,
point
yeah.
he made, yeah.
Yes.
And what does he charge as a fee?
We paid him just about $500. He was asking for $600. But for the schools, he said that he would do this free of charge. Because, maybe because he was,
Included in what- yeah.
included in what we,
I mean, initially, I think when we invited, accepted his grant, I think we were kind of thinking maybe he
would
would be
go.
presenting in the school somehow,
Yeah.
but
yeah.
it ended up being here. But partly it could have had to do with security measures at schools nowadays that we,
But even the fact that he would go to the schools and do it for free speaks volumes about his
Oh, yeah.
character.
yeah, he's dedicated to the
Very, very.
cause.
Yes. So I wanted to let you know that I followed up on his meeting here. I was disappointed that there weren't many people. Sandy did send information over to the
Thank you,
school,
Linda.
so that when I spoke, before they spoke to me the second time, before they spoke back to me, I got the recording, they kind of knew what I was talking about, so, yeah. So I was kind of hoping, yeah. So we do have quite a few programs coming up. Also, I wanted to speak, on the agenda, I mentioned the Superintendent Paula Bailey, very nice lady, very easy to approach, and very would most probably be receptive to anything we had to say. But then in thinking about it, I think it would be, I would like to, and I'll tell you why in a minute, approach the same people that I've already approached about having the students or the faculty at Ford Middle School do something to benefit the community. Some kind of a project that they will learn by doing, and then by presenting it to others will benefit. Like the Eagle Scouts, when a child is getting an Eagle Scout, they do something that benefits the community, like fixing up the church that you're at, the floor of the church, fixing up the little park in town, right near the church, putting the little containers over on Lake Street where the fishermen can put their extra lines, and then the book that Channel wrote on, what was his name? Alex Plant wrote a book on the history of Acushnet. That benefits the community, it benefits all. Maybe there's an individual child that has an interest in something that they really in the science area or having to do with weather or pollution, and maybe they would like to do something. Or maybe a class, maybe a teacher would want to apply for a grant and do something with the class and then present it at open house or some, in-service day. And David and I were talking about what some examples could be, and we'll have to finalize that. But I was thinking that once I spoke with or got a 2-page flyer out to those 5 people I mentioned, the principal, vice principal, administrative assistant, guidance counselor, they could say, yes, good idea. And once it's approved, then we could put out a flyer with each teacher's, it's so easy to get their names, it's right on the computer. Each teacher, it would be actually addressed to them, inviting them to participate in applying for a grant from the Cultural Council for a project that would benefit the Acushnet community. And we could then give them some examples. And, we can't give them a lot of money, but $200, $300, $400 to pay for materials or a little stipend, I think, that might be something we'd like to do.
They can be very helpful, I think.
I think so too.
In fact, the state of Massachusetts Cultural Council supports it in a very powerful way. They speak of potential grants for schools, including festivals, projects, residencies, which is something hadn't heard of in a local setting, and arts, humanities, and sciences are the main directions. And the other thing I wanted to ask the committee about is so the other night when we had our speaker, something for us to consider for the future is the possibility, and of course we'd have to get permission from the presenter or whatever they're presenting, receiving a grant, to maybe televise some of them. When a lot of the community can't benefit by being here in person, maybe they could at least have access to something in the future.
That's a great idea.
Televised presentations.
So I love that idea because when, we won't get to it until new business, but I was thinking, so we have the ability to do so much more than just the cultural council grant money. So I wanted us to start to think about what is the culture of the Acushnet? What is our town's culture and how can we push and lead us towards that as a group? And I think that is a great segue into it.
It is. And we do receive, and this is what I need to ask you about. I have some packets in the back of your folder packet. Talking about the first one is dated February 18th. And it talks, I receive all of these things in the mail, and I have to be honest with you, I glance through them, but I don't take them in, I don't absorb them, I don't read them before. And I need to know, do you people receive these in the mail that I'm going to talk to you about right now? And if you do not receive them, and you would like to receive them, I can call Jay at the Mass Cultural Council and have your emails put on a, yes.
Oh, I don't get these.
No, you don't get these? And I just ran off the last few for you. If you would like to, I'm gonna give you a few days to kind of look them over and see if you would like to receive these. If you would, I can either have Jay send them to you directly, or when I receive them, it would be so easy for me to just email them right over, forward them right over to you. Do you receive, well, let's take a look at them quickly right now. It talks about unrestricted operation grants. This one came out in February. Governor signs executive orders to establish first ever poet laureate. Join card culture and make culture more accessible to more families. And different things having to do with that. And then the one that came out on March 4th, grants available for organizations. And I know that people can go to the Massachusetts Cultural Council website and find these things, but I think it would be easier if they would just send to you if you want them, and my suggestion is over the next few days, if you just kind of read this, then shoot me an email to say whether or not you want to receive them. And if you do want to receive them, I can just forward them to you or have Jay send them to you. The one on March 11th has to do with the cultural asset inventory. The one on March 18th has to do with applying to be a poet laureate. And the other one, the very last one that I gave to you, it should probably be one of the first ones I gave to you. Cultural Council grants, 7.5 million, and it went out to more than 7,300 community-based projects. And be a voice for the creative community, which is what we are, and that's why we're being televised.
So do we apply for the set amount or is it a set amount?
It's a set amount.
Okay.
And in the past, when I've been on the committee now almost 6 years, I think I actually have been on 6 years, and somehow or other it looks like I was only on 5, so that's why I'm sitting here. We didn't do any of this stuff. I didn't look at any of this stuff. We didn't have any meetings. We just came in, if you remember correctly. Janine would tell us, and sometimes we didn't even have it in front of us. She would tell us what who was applying and what she suggested, and we'd just say kind of yes or no. And it was done very fairly, and some applicants were rejected and some were accepted. And Janine always did say to me though, give as much as you can to as many people as possible.
But what I'm wondering is if there would be a way for us to increase our allotment. Is it based on the census of our town? Like, how can we get more funding?
We can,
No, let's-
maybe.
Can we
yeah.
explore options to increase our funding?
I don't think we can, I think it's a set
Definitely
amount.
not.
And
We've gone up, every year we go up a little bit more. And the town always stays at, maybe the town could give us a little more than
But we're
250.
sure there's no other grant options available.
I don't know. I don't
That'll
know.
be my homework before the next
Okay.
meeting. I'll look at other grant options.
Okay, see.
That's my homework.
And I will start if you, well, maybe you people know right now whether or not you want me to send you these extra emails.
I do.
You do? Yeah. David? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Cindy, understand.
In an email.
Okay.
Right.
If it will be helpful to us, you can send them to me.
You know what?
Just send them to all of us.
Yeah,
Just send them to all of us.
it's an easy thing to do. I
Yes, just
put
click
in
forward.
your, same way I did the agenda, I just plug in your names and your email pops up and there it goes. It's magic. Like
Yeah, but the
magic.
funding is determined by the state of Massachusetts Cultural Council, and
Right,
it's based on population
right, so our
and needs.
town census.
But we can, as a town, the town can have, like the school, for example, could apply for a grant themselves
Mhm.
through us.
Yeah.
And then up to 20% of our budget could go to a specific grant for, say, the schools or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. And this is Joanne Mason, who is a member of our committee.
Hi, Joanne.
Yeah. Thank you, Joanne, for joining us. I know you have other commitments, so thank you for coming in anyways. Okay. We quickly went over what we talked about at the last meeting, letting people kind of know who we were. We mentioned some of the programs that are upcoming, and we told people to look at the websites, to look at the website for the library, and to look at our website. And we also, we're on Facebook, so people will know. And now that we're being televised, people will know that we exist, because I'm gonna be honest with you, I never knew there was a cultural council till like about 7 years ago. I just didn't know, you know. And then I was asked if I would consider being on it, and then I said, I was told one meeting a year, an hour. I said, yeah, okay, yeah, and here we go, yeah. Let's see, all right, so the old business was when we talked about what went on at our last meeting. So can I have a motion to accept that old business? Okay, Joanne, okay? You're gonna make that motion, all right?
The
Okay,
first
because-
motion to accept.
Okay, because you were at the other meeting, so you know what went on. Joanne Mason, okay, and Paula, okay. Okay, and now our new business, I'm still not done with it though. I just want you to keep this in the back of your mind, that as of June 2026, which is a year away and it does go by quickly, I can no longer be on the committee because I will not put in so many years. So I would like someone who might still be on the committee to consider taking over, okay? And we did talk about term expirations, and I do have that written down from our last meeting. It would be, Cindy, it would be at the beginning of your notebook. And I just want to say that, Brittany, you're still with us until 2027, so we're not getting rid of you yet. Same thing with Charlene. But Paulette, you are through this year. Now, have you done 6 altogether? You don't know. Okay.
Exactly, my notes.
Yeah, if you've only done 3,
Yeah.
you can then do another 3.
Okay.
But if you've done 6, you'll have to
I don't
take a
think
year
I've
off.
done 6.
Okay, you'd have to take a year off and then come back on. But, okay, so you can make that decision. And same thing with Kelsey, who is not here this evening. Joanne, you're just starting out, so you're here until, oh,
This is my second.
yeah, and so you're here until the end of 26 also, yeah. David, same thing for you, yeah. And Pauline, same with you. Charlene, did I mention you? Yes. Oh, Charlene, 27.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, so you're on for a while then, yeah, like Brittany, so you too. So I guess Joanne and David and Pauline, if this is your first 3 years
Mhm.
and you want to stay on, you are allowed to.
Welcome aboard.
Yeah. But if you choose not to, that's okay, it's a 3-year commitment, you know. And if you have already put in 6 years, you have to take a year off. Brittany, did you start you were on for a while though, because I
Yeah.
remember your name.
I have been on for a little while.
Yeah, so
I'm gonna
you,
take a year off,
yeah,
but I'll be back.
yeah.
Don't worry.
Yeah, so you might be done in 2027, take a year off.
Until
and then come back on.
2029.
Yeah, and then come back on, yeah, there you go. All right, so I just want people to think about that. That was in the first packet I gave you, last time. Okay, now I was going to say, any, discussion, news, thoughts, ideas from committee members? Oh, before we do, Criterion has been in touch, sending me like little updates, thanking me. I had trouble paying them last time because they have such a turmoil with everything changing down at the Criterion. I had a hard time paying them their money. I didn't know who to give it to, and I wasn't getting anything from them. They didn't even ask me for it, So I chased them down, and I finally made a contact. And she's wonderful, and she's been sending me all kinds of stuff having to do with the Criterion and everything that's going on. And they have actually already put together a couple of programs that kind of like what we're paying for, but there's more, They haven't asked for reimbursement yet, So, but that would be the only mail that I have received was from the Criterion. And from people who have said, like, Mr. York saying that he would be coming here for his presentation, and Henry the juggler has already let me know. And the Acushnet Senior Center has let me know that people have said that they will be coming in to do some senior hip hop, So people are letting us know, but not really a lot of mail, so I have nothing to really read to you or report there. So I like what we've been talking about as far as you looking into, see if there's more grants out there. I don't know if we want to take on more than this one grant, but let's see what's out there, And I like the idea of what you said, like maybe working with the school or different people.
I would like to do that.
Yeah. And I can't, is there anything else any other ideas on?
I'd like to go back to how we define culture in the
Okay.
town of Acushnet.
Okay.
Well, it's defined by the state.
So it is defined by the state, but
So we can't alter that, we don't have.
so the cultural council is only, so let me make sure that I'm clear on this. The cultural council is designed only to disperse the cultural council funds.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, so then there's no point in me looking for other grant money, because that
Unless
would
we want to, yeah.
exceed the scope of what we can do.
Yeah, it would be kind of a lot because what we're already doing.
So then I also don't know that we can do your idea, because they would have to put the grant through the
Yes.
cultural council.
Right, they're allowed to do that.
Okay, so as long as it goes through that channel.
Right.
Okay.
And we talked about the community initiative,
Mhm.
the power of
I
culture
don't think I
in
realized
cities.
our hands were so tied into the cultural council. I thought we could
Do-
do more.
What we,
Well, it
Well,
does a
we-
lot already,
yeah.
it's quite a
Yeah.
Well, it
substantial.
does a lot, but it does a lot with that grant, right? So I thought it focused more on, for the town, not just the grant specific.
we help communities enrich cultural experiences that improve our quality of life, foster growth and economic development, and celebrate the authenticity of place. We're leading a movement to bring people of all backgrounds in the arts, humanities, and sciences together for a common cause, to evaluate the importance of culture to create a better Commonwealth. So we're really kind of doing the arts, humanities, sciences, and that would,
Yes,
The
but that
schools-
comes from our town or the mass?
that is the mass cultural, yeah, and that's
So-
what we're giving out.
What does our town's mission for the cultural council say?
It,
We don't have one?
We have to follow the state.
we follow the states.
That's the whole purpose of our.
Well, confined by the governance of the state.
I understand, but I think there's a little
Could there be?
There's a little
Could there
issue
be like
here.
an arts council, and under that umbrella, there's the
Actually,
cultural
that was the
council?
name of this council before. It was called the Acushnet Arts Lottery Council.
Okay.
Arts Lottery.
And so then at some point,
it changed to the Massachusetts Cultural Council.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Those have got a little more sophisticated and
Yeah.
they,
But we don't even do anything with the arts now, do we?
No.
Well,
Yeah.
with the arts,
We
it
do.
would be the music, and we support, like Christine Daniels has a wonderful arts program over at Ford Middle School. We have paid for a mural, which is really arts, being painted on the wall over at the elementary school, and that was done by one of our former students who is now an artist.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Yeah. And I guess the arts mostly have been speakers that we have come in, and they can come into the senior center, the library, any place in town that they would, can have a crowd gather. Let's see.
And I think when we're looking at everyone that applies to us, we try to be quite diverse in ages, from preschool to right through the senior center.
Yeah.
We also are very cognizant when we're looking at the people who apply to us to cover all those areas.
Yeah.
The only thing that I thought of when we discussed it at our last meeting was the evaluation of the programs that we were presenting. I thought it would behoove us to have the audience evaluate the individuals or the group that was presenting. A very simple
Yeah,
evaluation
feedback.
tool, feedback,
Yes.
that we needed to know what the audience thought of the presenter, no matter what the
Yeah.
age group
Can we
was.
develop a questionnaire?
Just a very simple
At the end of the
questionnaire. We don't have to develop our
presentation?
own, there's many of them already out there. We can just borrow one
Yeah.
and just a simple evaluation. You know,
It
how did
actually
you
might
find the
be
presenter? Was
A
the,
requirement.
did they meet the, the objective of their presentation? Were they easy to communicate? Did they communicate easily?
Yeah.
Nothing more than 10 simple questions. And do you think this particular presenter, should come back next year? Those kinds of things. And then as a group, we make a decision if they would apply the following year. Is that something we want to bring back to our community or not?
Did the public appreciate and enjoy
Right,
it?
yeah, exactly. And I think when I read through the mission statement from the state, I didn't think we were evaluating
No, we have.
the
We are, as a committee,
We evaluate as a committee.
We are privileged to go to every single program that takes place.
correct.
Yeah.
And we try to appoint one of us or two of
Yeah.
us to go to each presentation that we've presented money to see what we personally think, but that we want the community to tell us what they think.
It's pretty hard to do though at the, when they have the summer concert series and there are people out there listening to the music and of course they're going to say, oh yeah, this was great, I really liked this. And so it's going to be all positive feedback.
Well, that's
But-
fine.
But the thing is, there might be another group that we did not fund that would have been maybe just as good. Like, for example, there was a group that applied to us 2 years in a row. And we gave partial funding 1 year, and then we had some money that came back from the previous year that we hadn't spent, and we were able to give them complete funding. But this past year, we didn't fund them at all.
Right.
But they are still going to be here in our library because they're very good and they got funding elsewhere.
Right.
You know.
Through our town.
Yeah, through our town somewhere. Someone said, yes, yeah, we'll take care of that, yeah. Well, we have to be careful too because there was someone that and I can't really mention this,
No.
but that we all vetoed right away.
Mhm.
And in speaking with other people, it would have been beneficial to our town, so, and so,
But we each, when we
Well,
review
we-
every single
we do.
applicant, we do it individually. And then we meet as a group.
Right,
Yeah.
I think
And we
there's
go through
41
it.
applicants.
yeah.
It's
we
hard,
can't-
that's why I wanted to look for more money. It's really
Yeah,
hard.
I know, yeah, it
It's
is.
really hard.
We do have to refuse some
I
people.
was just trying to look for a survey real quick, but
Sure.
it wasn't quick, so I stopped.
I think the one thing we should definitely mention to the town, since we are recording this, is that
Yeah.
we absolutely want community input as to what they might like for us to consider for people that, because we don't always get that kind of feedback.
No, we don't.
So that, we want to invite people in the town to write to us, or if they have some kind of something that they might be interested in, we can definitely look into it.
And we are easy to reach because through, well, our names are on our website. And if they were to call Sydney at the administrative office, they can, ask for a phone number, or have one of us contact them and get feedback that way, And that's why it's a great idea that we're being televised.
Yeah,
Because
it is a great idea. And
Yeah.
the other thing to point out too is that we really work in collaboration with other local towns
Mhm.
to try to, be, consistent, and because we've had, like, for example, the Zeitarian Theater, we, they had submitted a grant and we approved grant, like a small
Yeah.
grant for them as best we could. So it's also the neighboring towns that we want to be neighborly with and to participate as best we can with them.
And I think I can mention this, because I'm not gonna say anything negative, but I was at your theater fairly recently. I've been going to different different presentations, different shows. And I was amazed to see how much they do, not just in putting on their shows, but in teaching people about doing backgrounds, and it's a teaching theater. They teach people everything to do with the theater. And it's hard to explain, but I did see that they were supported by the Massachusetts Cultural Council and different cultural councils, and we haven't supported them. Because one year we did support them, and they were going through a change, and they never applied for their money, and so we spent it elsewhere. We gave them plenty of opportunity, and then when they did apply, I had to send them a letter saying, sorry, the money's gone, and they didn't reapply. But I am going to encourage them to reapply, because I think that is local also. It's in New Bedford, it's people from Acushnet, Fairhaven, Dartmouth.
It's an enormous benefit for us to have theaters in New Bedford.
Absolutely.
And the New Bedford, in fact, I think received some kind of an acknowledgement that it's the #1 city or town in New England, #1 in arts and humanities. It has more people that identify as artists than anywhere else. And so we all benefit from theater and the arts, and Zeitarian is probably the #1.
So that person that told you there were other councils to get money from, maybe that would be the thing, and not through Mass Cultural. Didn't you say that some of these people had said they had applied to other cultural
No,
grants?
actually, she was privately funded by some company, some local company, yeah.
Okay.
Now we have the train, I don't know if the schools will take advantage of that for school trips, but
And on our applications, when people do apply for grants from us, they list where else they have applied. Because
Yes, they do.
they can apply to other,
Yeah.
they can apply to New Bedford, Fairhaven, Metapoiset, Dartmouth.
Yeah, because
the whole,
it's still Mass, but
Yes, it's still Mass, and we look at that too, and we say, okay, they're applying to so many places, but we can give them $250, we can give them $300, and we've done that.
Yeah.
yes, yeah.
That's all part of it.
Yeah, that feels good when we do that.
Yeah.
Businesses, corporations like Joseph Abboud, Titleist, any of the big
Acushnet
places in this city, manufacturers contribute money to this?
No, they don't.
Are they allowed to?
I don't know, that they would have to take that up with the Massachusetts Cultural Council. But say we reject someone, we said we just don't have the money this year, they can go privately and ask, and people do, And I think that's what's happened with the person that we did not fund last time.
Yeah, this is independent of businesses, that way
Yeah.
it's a cleaner identity and
Yeah.
not biased in any way at all.
Okay.
The businesses contribute to all the theaters anyway, they really do a lot on their own. So,
The smaller businesses, but these are international businesses
yeah,
that
I don't know.
I'm thinking about.
That would be up to them, what they did,
If they apply.
Do they know that they can contribute? Can they contribute?
Oh, I'm sure they're
Like an
approached.
endowment or
I'm
something,
sure,
you know?
yeah, they might be approached, I don't know,
Yeah.
but not by us,
Yeah, listen.
We're just little people, yeah.
I don't know, I just hope it helps.
Yeah.
I mean, these are the people with the cash.
Yeah, I know. But if you go to a show at the Zeitunion and you receive the program, you can see the people
All
that
the
have.
different people
Sure.
that
Have
Banks,
interpreted,
yes,
yes,
yes.
yeah. And even your theater too, when you go there, go there again this weekend.
Yeah, I think we're really lucky to have a Mass Cultural Council.
Oh,
We
absolutely.
are.
I mean,
Yes.
it's really an amazing development over the years that,
Thank you to all of you people because, like you've all just become so involved and the idea of us having more than one meeting a year is a good idea because people will know that we exist and they will apply and, they might not be funded this year, but our rejection letters say, we're sorry that we cannot fund you this year, but please consider applying again. And, we've had people that we have applied and the second time we have been able to give them some money. Yeah. And we do ask them, and this would be part of the evaluation that we would put onto it, we ask them in the acceptance letter to let us know when their programs are taking place so that we can put it on our website. And if they don't tell us, we don't know. But like I found out through the bullying program through you, and I had seen it advertised here, but I didn't recognize that it was one of ours. And not that I doubted you, but I went and I double checked.
Do we have a specific logo? So I know the Massachusetts Cultural Council does, but our flyers, when things are posted, I see that we get tagged, but it seems to change and not that it's a specific logo for us. So I think that would help with recognition.
Everything that I send out with the Massachusetts Cultural Council logo, because that's what we fall under.
Right, so that's what we fall under, but then for our town of Acushnet Cultural Council, so I think if they're,
it's not a separate, you
It's-
keep trying to say that, but it's not a separate entity.
Yeah.
We
I'm
have to-
not
we
calling
have-
it a separate
that's-
entity, but the flyers, if you look back at the flyers that have been posted, you'll see the difference that I'm talking about. So if there was some similarity, I think that would help with recognition.
I do know, like, for example, when something is put out at the Acushnet Senior Center, they just say thank you to the Acushnet.
Okay,
to
so
the Massachusetts
even if that,
Cultural
if it
Council.
was always in white and had the same picture next to it, or didn't change fonts, that would help with recognition.
Maybe the town seal. Just
I was gonna say.
something-
Right, so just
something as simple
something
as
so
the
that
town seal next
it
to
doesn't always
Well,
change, right?
well,
So the
we
Mass
don't-
Cultural
yeah.
Council is always there and the same,
Yeah,
but the thank you to us changes. I've noticed it changes in every flyer. So you can look back at the flyers and
Yeah.
see, right, like that's data, that's factual. And so just for someone, they may not recognize that, hey, this is something that we've supported.
yeah, but the thing is that we don't have any say in that. Like,
So who creates the flyer?
for example, when the person who is applying for the grant, they sometimes create a flyer.
Okay.
And they don't always say thank you to us, but like, for example, over at I keep using the senior center because I, volunteered there. And, she just kind of does that on their own, thank you to us.
So when it goes on the town page and those things, who puts?
On the
so-
top page, I could ask Sydney or, Tanya to make sure that something is next to it.
Just, I think, like a uniform standard, and
Yeah,
you
But
can
the town
check,
has that
right?
beautiful seal.
yeah, the head of the river.
Has a-
Mhm,
the head of the river.
Head of the river.
And I do think that is on all of their
All of
websites. I do think.
No, so just a flyer. I don't know, it's
Yeah,
just something
a
else I
flyer.
had thought about.
Okay, let me just
Just
think on
look
that.
at it. Yeah, just look at
think
it.
of that, yeah. About that.
I'll take some too,
Yeah.
but I think.
Just take a peek.
Anything else? Right. What did you call it? You call it?
A logo.
A logo.
Logo, yeah.
Like a brand, a logo, just something that
And it
says,
would
hey,
just
this is
signify
sponsored
that
by
it's
us.
coming from Acushnet.
Right,
I know in the letters I
Council.
send to them, I send it on Acushnet stationery
yeah.
that I made up myself. Right, kind of took stationery and I kind of, adapted it.
A lot of times, I'm a grant writer, a lot of times when you get a grant, the company or the entity that funds you will send what they want to be on all your program
Oh,
materials.
okay.
So that takes the guesswork out and just,
Okay.
copy and paste.
Right,
And that way it's uniform throughout.
okay, we
Not
can,
everybody does.
that can be put right on the acceptance letter.
Yeah.
When you are making up your advertisement for your presentation, please use your Acushnet seal as part of your logo, something like that. Okay? Thanks, thank both of you. Anything else? Okay, well then, oh, wait a minute now. We had a motion to open, we had a motion for new business, old business. How about a motion for the new business, the things that we have discussed? David, did you make that motion?
Yes.
Okay, you did. And a second, Charlene, oh, Joanne? All right, Joanne, listen. Okay, Joanne, I put you on the other one too. All right, now we need a motion to adjourn. Charlene, would that be you? And Brittany, would that be you?
Sure, I'll start.
Okay, good. So when I write up the minutes, they're not gonna be fancy, it's just gonna be a little bit like what the agenda is, and I'll just put your names in. Yeah. Okay, I think, Mr. Green, I think we are over and out.